Sir, something has happened. We have found something.
What is it? What have you found? Is it the rebel fleet?
No, sir, it's a message.
How can this message be worth troubling me with?
It is a message that none of us can understand, and it's being broadcasted all over the destroyer.
Show me. I must take this to the Emperor at once. My lord.
What is it, Captain?
My lord, I...
Speak!
Something has happened. A message is being broadcast all over the destroyer.
A message?
Yes, my lord. However, it is a message that none aboard can decipher.
Show me.
My lord, what does it mean?
Spoilers ahead. Warning.
My lord?
I would grasp hold of the nearest railing, Captain. This is going to be a bumpy ride indeed.
For centuries, Alderaan stood as a beacon of hope in the Republic. The Empire came.
I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
Peace while you suffer. The Emperor drowns you in black waters.
He wants me to be Darth Revan again. Serve him as I did centuries ago. He made me a Sith Lord and named me Darth Revan.
The Force does not control you. You saved Ugandi using something you thought was important. But your motives are still aligned with the Jedi Code.
To arms, men! Defend the throne!
Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him. He was weak and foolish like his father. So I destroyed him.
Master Windu, you have fought gallantly. Worthy of recognition in the archives of the Jedi. It is finished.
To them it is.
I have been waiting for you. Is it true that he is the chosen one?
Hey guys, and welcome back to State of the Galaxy, except you'll notice probably from the title that we are doing something a little bit different today. We are doing, and I'm going to say we should probably introduce the other segment of we.
Hey, it's Harrison, back again.
There we
Looks
go.
like YouTube.
So I recently found, courtesy of Tumblr / other sites, the supposed leak for Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It was leaked. Thank you very much. Kind of store updates. That's cool. It was leaked by the same guy who supposedly leaked the plot for Rogue One. So it's fairly reliable. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through each. You see, I've separated it into what's that called?
Paragraphs.
There we go. It's because I haven't drunk my energy drink. The drinks that I bought, I've just left outside. So without further ado, we're going to start with the Star Wars: The Last Jedi plot leak. So the film opens up with not Luke and Rey, but instead a battle, the Battle of Dakar, which is the planet that you see the Resistance base on at the end of wow. Don't you just love Windows 7?
Yeah, 4.2.0.
Yeah, the planet that you see at the end of Star Wars Episode 7. Things must seem desperate as an evacuation is taking place, and Finn is roused from his slumber because he was in a coma at the end of Episode 7.
Set off the alarm clock.
I guess, so that he may take part in the evacuation as well. Kylo is airborne in his new personal TIE fighter and is targeting the ship that Leia is aboard. He does pull the trigger, because in the trailer you see him hesitating. He does pull the trigger in the end, but however, as he hesitated, where he has doubt and senses Leia on board, the Raddus, because I'm guessing they're tributizing that ship to Admiral Raddus from Rogue One. They're able to escape, to get safely into escape pods and jettison before the ship is destroyed. A fleet of Resistance bombers comes out of hyperspace and rescues the pods before they too are destroyed. There is a new member of the Resistance, Rose, who loses her sister in this particular battle. What do you think at the beginning of this film, how it started out?
It sounds pretty good.
Okay.
But I don't really feel the need to add a new main character.
No? Okay.
Right.
So Ray does finally hand the saber to Luke. He ignites the pale blue blade and reminisces, most likely on the past battles that took place with him using the saber, and maybe even through his new powers that have been granted to him, he sees visions or memories of what his father did before him. Both good and bad. Shortly after, he deactivates it and tells Ray to go back to wherever she came from. Which for me personally is not really what I wanted. I didn't really want Luke to say, "Oh, thank you for coming all this way. Thank you for the setup that was essentially episode 7, leading up to us training," which is what everyone wanted to see. Oh, bye. Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it took all this time. You looked for that map for a long time, and now...
Yeah, bye. So, obviously Ray, no doubt wanting to not waste this opportunity, decides to follow Luke into his little hovel that he lives in. Despite her persistency, he refuses to help the Resistance, however, very quickly is distracted when he spots the Manelian Falcon. Meanwhile, aboard the Supremacy, which is the ship that the First Order are currently manufacturing perhaps their heavy walkers and ships from, Hux reveals the information that to Supreme Leader Snoke that Kylo hesitated, and that allowed the Resistance enough time in order to get to the escape pods, which resulted in a crushing defeat for them when a much needed victory was needed for the First Order after the destruction of Starkiller Base. Snoke scolds Kylo, accusing him of being weak. This may raise the point that he was able to kill Han Solo, but was somehow unable to kill his mother in what should have been a far easier kill, seeing he wasn't physically able to see her, he was just able to see the ship that she was aboard. Kylo returns to the elevator and destroys his helmet, finally having enough with the way that his master and supposed allies are treating him. The Resistance fleet arrives at Crate, which is the kind of salt planet.
Not like a
that
box, is it? Like, very hard to get in.
No. So it's the salty planet that you see the speeders on and various other shots in the new trailers. So the Resistance arrives at Crate. The time has come to discuss the next move for the Resistance. However, tempers flare between Holdo, which is a new character. I don't know if you've seen her in pictures for the Last Jedi, but she has purple hair and she's very glamorous, and she's kind of in league with Leia. So tempers flare between Holdo and Poe, and Leia desperately tries to keep the peace.
Project Runway meets Star Wars.
Just before Finn provides some much needed information, as he always seems to, this time in regards to the Supremacy, stating that it's not only operates as a battle station, but also as a manufacturing plant.
He's got a lot of toilets to clean all over.
He does, yeah. He knows a lot as someone who works in sanitary. So he may have worked in the manufacturing plant as well to be able to gain that information, or just heard some stuff. Seeing this as the next target to further cripple the First Order, the Resistance leaders devise a plan in order to infiltrate the station and shut it down. I'm good. Thank you for offering chocolates to me. Maz, having survived the battle that took place in Star Wars Episode 7, reveals to them that she knows... Oh, wow. Doing the glasses impression. That she knows the best slicer in the galaxy, also reassuring them by saying that he will work for their cause as he owes Maz a favour, which isn't specified.
He cuts pizzas, everybody.
Yeah, it's more, hopefully, that he knows how to break into places and did like a data slicer. Finn, who is being dispatched on this mission, is told by Poe that he should take BB-8 with him too. Poe also takes this opportunity to pull together a group of pilots and ask them one simple question. If they are content with sitting around, or whether they want to actually go out and do something.
Cue Rogue One speech.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Independence Day, or Pacific Rim.
Today is our Independence Day.
Today we stop the enemy that is at our door. So meanwhile, Luke is reunited with Chewie and R2, and finally we are introduced to the adorable Porgs, which obviously I'm quite happy about.
Yeah, they look awesome.
And Luke has a bit more of an open mind now and starts to ask Rey questions. He is reluctant but agrees to see what she is capable of in the morning. So what are we feeling at this point? We've had a lot of talking and not much fighting, but obviously that's going to happen at some point.
Sort of like a family drama at a second. It's like, Chewie, my long lost cousin. I haven't seen you for
My brother,
My brother. Let's go bowling.
of another hairy mother. Yes.
No, it's like
I think that needs to be in the thing that we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
There we go. So
the gag reel type thing.
in the gag reel, yes. So in the morning, Luke is meditating in a position that looks over the ocean. Yep. An echo of the past changes the view to that of the suns of Tatooine that are setting, much like they did in the scene from A New Hope. Rey disturbs the vision, however, by simply placing her hand on his shoulder, and it is time for the training to begin by teaching Rey to clear her mind and reach out to feel the Force. Luke is amazed at the result. Rocks start to float and the ground around the rock starts to crack and shatter and actually lifts away with the two of them still standing on it.
Master Yoda's in the background going, that's how it's done.
Yeah, there is no try, but this girl immediately knows it. I don't even need to say anything. At the same time, Rey receives what appears to be an incomplete vision. Now, something that I should probably mention throughout this entire also this entire film, it's very vision heavy. I mean, we saw a little bit of it where Rey gets that kind of incomplete vision when she touches the Skywalker saber. But this is very heavy. The Sky Saber. It's very heavy in this one. So at the same time, she receives an incomplete vision. A voice shouts out a voice shouts out, and a temple in an otherwise quiet night explodes. A robot hand bursts out of the rubble left by the explosion. Luke, who can see the vision too, shouts out at Rey to stop. Boulders fall all around them, and Luke says that he has seen he does that speech. I've seen this raw strength once before. It didn't scare me enough. Then
a hint at Kylo.
It does now. Yeah. Well, we don't know yet. Is it Kylo Ren that he's referring to? It could be anyone.
I reckon it could be him.
It could be him. Okay. So Rey questions if the explosion was caused by the apprentice that Han told her about, because obviously I don't think that connection is actually made to Rey yet, whether she knows that the apprentice was Kylo Ren. Instead of answering the question, Luke says that there is something he would like to show Rey. On board the Supremacy, for God's sake, on board the Supremacy, Kylo, for the first time in a while, is at peace. As he looks over the manufacturing base, suddenly the piece is ripped away from him when he experiences the same vision as Rey did. Startled, he turns around, almost expecting to see someone there behind him. There is no one, of course, and he is still alone. He debates if he should report the vision to Snoke, however, decides against it in the end.
Is someone there?
Yeah, someone there. Maybe I should tell him that I'm seeing things. Maybe not. Might further shake his trust in me. Met with the sight of a planet flying flags of the First Order, a city comes into view which is bombed to ashes by a small fleet of starfighters. Finn, Rose and BB-8 track down the Slicer using details provided by Maz. While there, Finn joins in some of the games at the casino. I don't know if you've seen some of the casino shots and some of the behind the scenes. They go to a casino. It looks really nice. Some of the characters there are very...
like Vegas of space.
Pretty much, but it's very kind of reminiscent of the shots that you see in the Cantina in A New Hope, where you just got all these really wacky and wonderful creatures, which is quite cool. But then, obviously, they're going to be combining CGI with practical effects. So he joins in with some of the games where they...
where they get hologram chess.
I hope we get to see hologram chess again. Where they hope to find the Slicer, and unfortunately Finn has very little luck with any of the winnings. That is until an individual approaches Finn and asks whether he would like to bet on a race. Finn does at this, and this time wins big and tells Rose what he's done, but at the same time Rose reveals that they found the right guy. So what are we feeling? Because this is quite a big bit that's following from here.
Bet on a race, win a lot of money.
We'll earn a lot of money. We'll defect from the Resistance. We'll set up shop. BB-8 will be our dog, and we'll have a happy family. It'll be great.
Long distances.
Oh gosh.
No, it sounds like Ocean's 11, but not so much robbing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like, Ocean Star Wars.
Ocean Star Wars. So Poe has gone rogue, and Leia knows it almost immediately.
Are they doing like a Rogue One type thing? Is it like Rogue 2? Or are they like, we're for the rebellion, we got to do
No,
this?
we're for the rebellion, but we're taking this into our own hands.
Right,
so he's gone rogue, and Leia...
He's rebelling.
Oh! Leia knows it almost immediately after Holdo tells her that the civilian... or that a system that has civilians that are aligned to the First Order has been attacked and believes it to be, and even the First Order are suspected to be the Resistance. It would seem that in retaliation, a Star Destroyer bombs a massive city from orbit. So at the moment, it's like who's got the biggest stick, where it's just one person's bombed us, and now we need to bomb them back.
We'll show you our fireworks if you shot yours.
Yeah, pretty much. It would appear that the Slicer, under the name of DJ, which I can't remember who plays the character. I mean, it's not a great name, is it really? But I don't know if it stands for something. Hopefully it stands for something cool. But,
Def Jam.
Yeah, Def Jam. But it would appear that the guy who'd be playing that is quite a famous actor. I can't remember. Just type in Star Wars DJ, to be fair. Star Wars Episode 8 DJ. See whether you can find the picture from that. But so he's actually been imprisoned by perhaps someone who owns the casino. We don't know quite yet who. Yeah, that's the actor. I might throw up a picture on the screen at some point. However, the team managed to break him out and seek a getaway vehicle. They result in attempting to bribe one of the stable boys guarding. I can't really. How would you pronounce that? Guarding. Fadia. So that's the creatures that Finn bets on in the race. The stable boy is greedy and will not accept the amount they are offering. Instead, demands the whole lot of the winnings that Finn had acquired not moments before.
Benicio del Toro.
There we go.
That's the guy, man. Get there eventually.
That's all right. Thank you for the research. No sooner have they won quite a lot, they've now lost it all.
Oh, they got better.
I know, right? So Finn does eventually give up, and they are chased, presumably by the ones who imprisoned DJ, back to the ship they arrived on and escape. Luke has decided to show Rey something that we've never seen before in the cinematic universe. Much to the protest of a group of people known as the Keepers, Luke reveals a massive twisting tree, and there lies the Journal of the Wills, which we get to hear a little bit about in Rogue One, because we get to see the Guardians of the Wills. Luke says that this is what he's been searching for many years, and is the key to solving the conflicts between the light and the dark. Unfortunately, it is not as simple as just reading it and is unable to solve it, and says that he has had a change of heart and will begin training Rey, unlike he said he would at the beginning of the film.
So they go to the Tree of Life, and he says, "Okay, I'll train."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll train you," because I've suddenly forgotten that I'm unable to read this thing, and perhaps you can. We then get to see, and I predicted it right from the very beginning. I don't know if you remember me saying, but the predictable training montage. And it changes from Luke training Rey to Kylo training against the Praetorian Guards, which are the red guards, for those who don't know the
Praetorian Guards literally being the Emperor's Guards in ancient Rome.
And then seeing the First Order bomb Republic systems, and again the Resistance return in favour. We may also get a transformation scene of Rey running along a cliff, and her robes and hairstyle changes as she goes, showing that she's been there for some considerable time. I don't know whether it's going to be that visual where she's running and it's the same run and her hair changes and robes and stuff like that. I don't know.
Wow, that was fast. In a flash.
Yeah, I just ran and I am now changed and I've aged 3 months. Poe's Steel Rogue attempts to bomb a parade with General Hux in attendance. However, perhaps a result of the bombing and him becoming too cocky, their attempt is unsuccessful and they fall victim to an ambush. And only Poe makes out alive, who is then tracked back to Crate by the First Order. Upon his return, he meets with Leia and Holdo, who are furious with him and want to imprison him for his actions. Instead of protesting, he goes willingly. However, his parting words are that they are both cowards, that they are all cowards for not having done what he decided to do in the first place.
Well, he is doing more rebelling than they are.
He is, yeah. I mean, I suppose they're under the name of the Resistance now, so it's more like resisting what the First Order is doing instead of openly
rebellions always try and take on the government first, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
The little displays and demonstrations.
Now back with the Resistance, Finn and Co are briefed on how to get aboard the Supremacy using a stolen shuttle, very similar to Shuttle Tidarian, or the shuttle that they steal from.
SW0608.
I can't remember we talked about it today. What was the name of the outpost? Or the place?
Edu Base.
Edu Base, there we go.
Yeah.
Very similar to the dark side location that Luke goes to while under the tutelage of Yoda, Rey is also told there is a place she must go. So remember on
so she goes to Dagobah and Dagobah.
Somewhere that she needs to go to train. Oh, Dagobah. Just as Luke did all those years ago, she refuses to go in without her weapon. While there, she finds an underwater cavern and battles a massive sea serpent, perhaps the product of the dark side, and is in the process of killing it while she is knocked into the water and, surprise, surprise, actually can't swim.
I don't know how to swim.
There is something that Rey cannot do.
I'm born on a desert planet. Help me! I've never seen water before. What is this?
To be
Water,
fair,
water.
that's kind of fair.
Water is wet. What is water?
But I'm more shocked that there's actually something that Rey can't do.
It's multi-scream here.
But we'll get on to Rey's just insane
Use
list
the force and make the water go away.
Yeah, insane list of skills in a later podcast. She panics and starts to drown, but before she does, she is flooded with visions. The temple, presumably the one that Luke... Huh?
Flooded with visions underwater.
There we go. I did word it like that just because of that. Presumably the one that Luke trained in with his new students is ablaze, and there is a dark figure standing amongst the flames with raised arms to the sky. Then she sees a kind face looking down on her. This is where things start to get interesting. The vision says to her, "I'll come back to you, sweetheart, I promise." There is a man wearing stormtrooper armor too. The scene changes again to a man angrily demanding what they have done with the child. They, however, stand their ground, which leads to the order being passed for them to be executed.
I'm guessing that's probably Rey's parents.
There we go.
Oh no, execute him.
Rey, having broken free from the vision, manages to escape the water and finds Luke standing there. She is understandably angry with him for not helping her to escape the water before that. Luke does not apologise, instead asks what she had seen, and leads to a similar breakdown that Rey had in episode 7 when she is told that the people she is waiting for are never coming back, and reveals that her family is gone. Kylo wakes up with a start, having witnessed, guess what? The same vision. Yeah. Are you jotting down?
This is my idea, yeah.
Oh, okay, fair play. So yeah, Kylo wakes up with a start, having witnessed the same vision that Rey did. And he knows where Luke and Rey are now, and wastes no time in pushing a switch that alerts the Knights of Ren. That Rey has, and they start to put on armor and assemble weapons on board a ship. Finn and his crew manage to board the Supremacy and waste no time in planting bombs while DJ sets out in halting the manufacturing process. Guess what? They get caught. No. And Rose is executed.
Wait. A prison isn't going to slowly try and have the walls crush them to death.
Oh, well, you know, maybe. But we already had that with Phasma.
Bang, bang, boom.
So far, we have no idea how she escaped. Hopefully we'll get that in the Phasma book.
She got an R2-D2 unit to turn off the door.
Yeah. R2 units are everywhere. But yeah, so they get caught and Rose is actually executed, which is pretty brutal.
Are we sure she's dead?
Yeah, no, she's gone. She's dead. So that she doesn't even... Because my fear was that Finn and her were going to have a love interest, but that doesn't even get to happen.
She's the throwaway character.
She's pretty much the Quicksilver of the Star Wars universe. I know, but not the good Silver, the terrible Quicksilver that we got in Ultron.
Didn't see that coming, eh?
Yeah, there we go. The bombs go off, and Finn confronts Phasma and actually nearly kills her, but breaks away from his attack when he shatters her helmet and sees that she is human. Why would that stop him?
Expecting a robot,
or is Finn just like super prejudiced against all aliens? It's like okay, so if she had tentacles or something, I would have just annihilated her.
That may be part of his first order training, because
not be prejudiced against humans.
To be prejudiced against aliens. The Empire were really prejudiced against them, weren't they?
I suppose, yeah, because you never really see any. Apart from Thrawn later on, you never actually get to see anyone who isn't strictly speaking human.
There's like no aliens in the Empire at all, really.
No, so I suppose perhaps that was that's a good point actually. Perhaps that was something that so it would appear that Finn's first order training, although pretty much abandoned, still surfaces from time to time, perhaps in times of intense fighting and stuff like that. So where am I? Sorry. Yeah, so he pulls back, and the battle on Crate is about to commence, and Finn stows away on a ship. Kylo leads the landing party, but manages to get lost. What?
Hey Siri, where am I?
Oh, hey Siri, where am I?
There's no signal. Here.
There's no signal on Crate. What are you talking about? It's so stupid. So he manages to get lost in the commotion. So just go back to the commotion. It's not like you're in a jungle.
Yeah, go
You're
to
in
the
a desert.
noise.
Just go there.
You're in a boogaloo.
The bullet. He throws away his belt and flies away from Crate, presumably because Snoke has attached a tracking device to the belt. The Resistance holds off the first wave until the First Order sends in their heavy walkers, which we are pretty happy to see. The decision is made to let Poe out of the brig, and he has the idea of using old mining equipment to literally take the ground away from underneath the walkers.
That's what should come up when Kylo's.
Oh, what can I help you with? Sorry, having trouble with connecting to network. Sorry, I'm not able to connect right now.
Just something like that.
Yeah. So the walkers that we were anticipating seeing and that are really cool in the trailer literally stand there for about 3 minutes before they all fall into the ground. Meanwhile, I don't know which story you're less interested in, because I don't know if I'm less interested in what's going on with the Resistance or what's going on with Rey and Luke at this point.
Well, it's like a mum-dad. It's like a father-daughter kind of moment, like a bit like Hit Girl and Big Daddy. Except he's not going to shoot her with the promise of ice cream at the end.
So Luke is training Rey, and while she's floating pillars, much like Dooku did when he was training his bodyguard in the Clone Wars, Luke makes a comment about her grandfather, and Rey knocks Luke down with one of the pillars. She ignites the Skywalker saber, holds it above her head, and demands answers to what he just said.
Sky saber all the way.
What do we think about this? Is his grandfather? We haven't heard anything about this.
What's his name? Grey.
How dare you!
How dare you talk about Grey?
Ah!
Grandpa Ray is not amused.
Ah!
His Force Ghost tells me so. Well, it all depends, doesn't it? Who her relative is. If it's like.
And do we find out?
A big figure against the rebellion, or like an Imperial or something.
I like where you're going with it though. Luke can't answer before Kylo and the Knights of Ren arrive. Rey, however, does knock back down, and Luke results in knocking her to the ground and legs it.
Run away! Run away!
Run away!
Run away!
Kylo leads the charge towards Rey, who sees the danger and flees too. The Knights lay waste to everything, including the keepers of the Wills, so they die, and sets the landscape ablaze. Rey steps out of cover.
Oh,
hello. Ooh, okay. So, is this? We've just had a thing dropped. Is this confirmed?
This just in.
So, news from the Express. Star Wars Episode 8 shock. The Knights of Ren are all Luke Skywalker's former Padawans gone evil. Ooh. So that's something. So that does conflict with something that I've got here, but we'll continue on. So the Keepers of the Wills and sets the landscape ablaze. Rey steps out from cover, lightsaber drawn. Kylo demands that the Knights stay back, stating that she is his kill. They start to fight.
Oh, take me to battle!
On Crate, the Poe's plan is working, and the Walkers are falling to their doom. Snoke orders a fallback as Rey and Kylo continue to fight. He tells her that Luke will abandon her just as he did with him. She is confused by the outburst from Kylo, and then they share a vision. Another vision. Luke enters a chamber that Ben, so Kylo, sits in and reveals that he has a message for his mother. After Luke leaves the chamber, Leia's message plays. She says that she loves him, that she misses him, and that she never meant to hurt him, and tells him that his grandfather was Darth Vader. With this news, he loses control of his power, and the temple is destroyed. Luke is sent flying and is buried in the rubble. Luke gets knocked on his ass quite a lot in this film. He really does. Well, yeah, but this is Jedi Master Luke, not
Jedi Master Luke.
Not I was gonna do a Blind Jedi reference, but
not Rum Kota.
Not Rum Kota.
Or Ken, or what's it?
Kanan, yeah. This is even though Kanan's got pretty strong, that's another podcast.
But I'm a better Jedi.
But I'm a better Jedi, so there was no reason for me to even have eyes to start off with. There's no reason for me to be blind. It's the Daredevil thing all over again. But again, that'll be another podcast we'll get into. He quickly re-emerges and cannot believe what he sees. The temple in flames and bodies laying about, which is what conflicts with your news. But perhaps he had other. Perhaps these were just people that lived in the temple, worked, not necessarily his apprentices. Ben approaches Luke. Without even looking at him, Luke tells Ben to leave before he kills him. Ben does try to explain himself. However, Luke's simple reply is that this is why he needs to go. Enough, boy! You killed people. That's not good.
You boogaled.
You boogaled. Rey cannot believe it and lowers her weapon as she feels Kylo's pain. The knights find Luke and set fire to the tree. Enraged, Luke kills all of them using Force lightning.
Oh, lightning.
Oh,
Very
lightning.
frightening.
Scaramouche.
Scaramouche to your death.
Ben, now I've gone back a bit. So Kylo convinces Rey to come with him to see Snoke, and they leave together. Still enraged at the loss of the tree, Luke tells Chewbacca that it's time for them to leave. He raises his X-Wing from the ocean floor, and they leave together.
Really has an X-Wing?
Well, yeah, because,
Why couldn't he just gone in the Falcon with everyone else?
Because they split off later on. Meanwhile, the Supremacy activates a weapon that grounds all the ships and launches another wave. There we go. So very much like you want to reveal the malevolence from the Clone Wars, which would be very cool if we get to see that in live action because it looked very pretty.
Ion cannons.
Very nice. So hopefully we get to see something like that. But again, this will be something that we'll discuss in after we've seen Episode 8. Something we may discuss in our comparison of the First Order.
Hopefully. The Rebellion don't have a supersized hammerhead gunship.
Yeah, because that always seems to lay waste to everything. So Poe does not know what to do, and meanwhile Kylo brings Rey before Snoke. Snoke is angry that Kylo has removed his tracker, but at the same time is pleased that he finally has the girl. Snoke asks Rey who she is, and she says that she does not know, to which Snoke replies, "Let's find out."
Hey, want to see my girlfriend? She's super cool.
Chewie flies to the other side of Crate to avoid the energy field, while Luke flies to the Supremacy. Chewie pilots the Falcon through the planet while ties are in Hop's suit. When he arrives, Leia is injured in an explosion. In the throne room, Snoke reaches out into the Force and is shocked to find out that Rey, get this, is the granddaughter of the Emperor.
So she's like Rey Palpatine.
She's Rey Palpatine.
She's Palpatine.
This means that that Palpatine got freaky with someone. I think we should just take a moment. Do you think it was one of his? You know, in Episode 6, there are those two dudes. Well, we don't even know what they are. That bowed to him, and he stands. He does like a sinister walk around them. Maybe one of them is totally his.
Maybe
his squeeze.
It's the guy who's like the Imperial Speaker, who stands in front of him at the end of Episode 3 on that sort of pedestal. The blue.
Oh, the blue one, yeah. He gets really timid, I think.
She gets really timid.
Oh no, that's definitely a he. Because you hear him speak to Kenobi and
voice altering.
Oh man, we're looking into this way too much. Respirator. Gosh darn. So when he so once he finds out that she is the granddaughter of the Emperor, right away he freezes Rey in place, which I'm guessing is that shot that you see in the trailer where she looks like she's having like multiple strokes. I got shot. I keep on losing my place. He demands that Kylo kills her and fulfills his destiny. Kylo readies to strike, but then turns and cuts down one of the Praetorian guards. Snoke drops Rey, and she joins in with Kylo to fight the remaining guards. Together they win. They ready their lightsabers for Snoke, who looks at them, laughs, quotes a passage from the Wills, and wisps away like fog. So I don't know what you think about that, because Snoke clearly then was in that throne room. He wasn't another hologram.
Gone for the win.
So this is how powerful Snoke is, and it's actually been confirmed, well, semi-confirmed by an interview of Andy Serkis, who, for those who don't know, is the one who voices and does kind of like the motion cap for Snoke.
And Caesar as well from
Planet
Apes.
He said that this Snoke is more powerful than the Emperor and Vader.
It's not hard to believe. I mean, the guy can do force teleporting in the wind.
Yeah, apparently so. But we weren't sure whether it was because of his actual connection to the Force or whether he's more powerful because he has like infinite money.
Maybe it's like a smoke and mirror type illusion.
Perhaps, yeah.
Maybe he's just like...
he's actually just behind a wall. Just like,
he's Wizard of Oz again.
He's just Wizard of Oz again. Like it was in episode 7, where like, oh my god, he's massive, and then it revealed that he's just a...
Yeah, he's just Wizard of Oz again.
He's just Wizard of Oz.
He is the Wizard of Oz.
He is the Wizard of Oz. There's a Wizard of Oz. No, because maybe he flies away on that air balloon, then totally flies into a sun. And that's how Snoke is created.
It's like a spaceship balloon.
So again, losing my place. Rey and Kylo are confused when a voice behind them says, "Through order." Who is this?
It's not Kylo Ren, is it?
No, because both Kylo and Rey hear this.
It's Lukey boy.
It's Lukey boy.
Look at boy!
Luke stands behind them, lightsaber hilt in hand, blocking the doorway. He ignites it, and instead of the green blade that we all know, it's a beautiful crimson red. Now, this does actually connect. I don't know if it's something that you see in the trailers, but in some of the pictures, Luke is seen to have a red kyber crystal hanging from his neck.
Is it Vader's lightsaber crystal?
We don't know, because we've now been given all this stuff with the Marvel comics of lightsaber crystals. You can't harvest red crystals. They have to be created through bleeding a normal crystal into submission with the dark side. And that's how you get a red crystal.
I don't know if he would do that. Like,
see, that's the thing. I don't know. Would he actually be driven?
See, I think this is going to change the whole crystal collection thing, and he can just take it from the saber.
Well, I don't know, because this law was only very recently changed with the Ahsoka novel, which came out like a couple of months ago.
Then,
I don't know whether they change it again.
Easy to understand for a massive audience. They might just say you can collect the crystal.
Well, okay, well maybe it was a red crystal from someone else, because the lightsaber doesn't change as you hand it to people.
No,
it's not like a wand. It retains its colour, because otherwise, why would Han Solo be able to wield it at all?
Do
to cut open the tauntaun.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, perhaps. But so where was I? Sorry. But my main argument is that Luke, for me at least, was a very kind of Gandhi character, where apart from his rage against Vader in episode 6, he was always the good guy.
He raged against the machine.
Yeah, understandably so. But he's always the one that brings good. To now have this character go down the dark path, it seems like it makes everything that he did pretty much redundant.
Unless it's a sort of ploy to try and get Kylo back to the good side.
See,
maybe he's like, I'll show you what you can become, sort of thing. And you
see, but from what I'm reading later on, it's not looking that way. But maybe with episode 9, who knows? Because episode 8 at the moment is not looking too great. So yeah, Luke stands behind them and ignites his lightsaber, and a fight commences. Inspired by Chewie, the Resistance take the fight underground and secure a victory. I don't know why that leads to a victory, but apparently it does. Right after, they launch an assault on the Supremacy. The ship is rocked by the Resistance attack, and the fight between Rey, Ben, and Luke comes to a draw. Luke flees again. All he does is a lot of running and a lot of falling over in this film. I can't see how Mark Hamill's going to be very happy with this. But anyway, Ben and Rey look to join the Resistance. Luke calls up Hux,
my man.
What's up, man? On a hologram, and declares that it's time for him to come to the forefront of the movement. He informs Hux that Kylo has left the First Order. So this means that Luke is now pretty much there with Snoke at this point.
Oh man, is it just there?
I don't get it. I mean, maybe what if Hux is a separate kind of faction from Snoke? Because he doesn't say joining Snoke. He doesn't contact Snoke. He contacts his Hux.
What if Hux is Fulcrum? Oh, to the big screen.
Well, because Fulcrum's just a code word, isn't it, for anyone who's working
an
within...
agent code name sort of
yeah.
thing, Fulcrum Bond.
Because we've already had a defection like that in Rebels, but again, we'll get to that later. Aboard the Resistance cruiser, we are left with a very, and this annoys me so much, a very Empire Strikes Back ending. Everyone is not thrilled to see Ben. He rushes to his mother's side and reveals that it was Luke. And get this, she said that she knew it. How? And if she knew it, why would she send Rey? Why wouldn't she just... No! Why? It doesn't make any sense. Why would she not just send 1,000 bombers to end him? But
they probably don't have 1,000 bombers.
You get my point. Why would they send one girl, a Wookiee, and R2 to their doom if she knew?
And the Millennium Falcon.
And the Millennium Falcon, which needs 3 people to pilot it effectively. But she just didn't want to believe it, apparently. She says that he has lost his way, but there is still good in him, much like there was with Anakin.
Say it ain't so, say it ain't so.
The last line is, she dies. But it's really, really short. I don't get that. So is this a typo, or is this actually where Leia dies? Maybe from the injuries that she was sustained when Chewie finds her.
It is a typo because the last line of the film is Bugalet.
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 And this is what annoys me: the Empire connection, the Empire Strikes Back connection. Final shot is Ben holding Rey close to his chest, looking out of the bay at the stars, like the Empire Strikes Back. What the hell? I actually typed what the hell.
What the hell?
So let's see how we're standing at the moment. So we've actually overran on just a little bit, but we'll do a very quick wrap up. What do you think?
Oh my god. It sounds like a cinema masterpiece. With
Are
some
we sure?
ups and downs, and then ending on a down.
It's...
How can they pick up and start the third movie? I don't know.
Well, they're probably going to do it exactly like they did with Empire, where they're just going to force it a couple of years down the line.
Yeah, Kylo might have a different hairstyle and look less.
Yeah, he may look less emo child.
I
And
look like a less rebellious teen. Get a haircut. No.
It's...
No, I mean it seems.
So you're not outraged like I am.
No, I think some parts of it sound really dumb. Like, why bring Rose into it at all if you're going to kill her within like probably the first hour or two?
I don't know whether they're going to use it as a relay point where they're like, oh, we can't let more people like Rose die. Oh, this is kind of like our wake up call to be less diplomatic and actually start doing things.
The thing is though, is she going to just die and it be like, oh no, she's dead, or is it going to be like a dramatic, like, oh no, she's dead, take them on, sort of run away?
Well, the way that it was written didn't sound dramatic at all.
No,
but
it's like the casual,
and she dies.
It's like the black guy in Final Destination that always gets pegged off and no one's really affected.
No,
That's what it sounds like to me.
but it would be different if there was a love interest, but there just isn't.
She's a disposable character.
She really is just a disposable character, and the fact that they even make her more disposable by killing off her family first, by like her sister dies in the Battle of Dakar and stuff like that. But yeah, so my thoughts. Let's round it off by saying that my thoughts are that this is going to be. I'm not happy. I don't like what they've done with Luke. I don't mind him learning more dark side powers because we got to see that in episode 6. That's fine. But I do mind about him turning to the dark side.
You say it now, but I bet you'll still see it like 4 or 5 times.
I probably will. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like episode 7 all that much, but I'll see it again. And I don't know if I've already made up my mind. I won't like episode 8, but
I think it's going to be good to an extent. I mean, it's a Star Wars film. They're all good in their own ways. Just some are better, like Rogue One is currently my favourite. But some are good, some are bad. Let's not talk about Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's for another podcast. But anyway, so thank you very much for joining me, Harrison. No doubt we'll do... Harrison and I will be back to do our thoughts on the film once we've seen it. I'll be doing an immediate after-screening recording of my thoughts, and then Harrison and I will come together, hopefully, and then do a conjoined impression on Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Stay tuned, YouTube.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Normal episodes will resume. Of course, we've had a normal episode 4 as well, led by Tom and myself. So do enjoy that as well, if you have been able to sit through all of this.
And thanks for episode 4.5.
Yeah, and if it doesn't matter if you're a member of the Empire or the Rebellion, the Resistance or the First Order, the CIS or the Republic.
Or the Trade Federation.
Or Bugalit.
Bugalit!
Have a very, very, very happy evening, and may the Force be with you from us at State of the Galaxy.